You're squatting in the dirt. Your fingernails are black with soil. You've been digging for about 10 minutes, and now you're holding something that looks like an ugly, twisted stick. It's a tuber. A root. You knock the dirt off, bite into it raw, and it tastes like nothing you've ever bought from a grocery store. Starchy. Fibrous. Faintly sweet. No seasoning. No plate. No table. No one telling you what to eat or when. This was breakfast for most of human history. And honestly, it was working. When most people picture ancient humans eating, they picture meat. Big slabs of it. A man with a spear standing over a dead animal, fire crackling, fat dripping. That image is everywhere. Museum dioramas, documentaries, paleo diet ads telling you to eat like a caveman. It's mostly wrong. Your ancestors ate meat, sure. But meat was not the center of the diet. Not even close. For most of human history, somewhere between 60 and 80% of your daily calories came from plants. Roots, seeds, nuts, fruit, leafy greens, bark if things got desperate. The stuff that doesn't make it into the painting. The hunting was real. But the gathering was what kept you alive. In the 1960s, an anthropologist named Richard Lee traveled to the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa to live alongside a group of hunter-gatherers called the Ju/Hoansi, Ju WHNC. You might see them called the Yi Kung San in older textbooks. Lee wanted to understand something basic: how do people feed themselves in one of the harshest, driest landscapes on the planet, without farming, without stores, without any of the systems we take for granted? What he found surprised almost everyone in his field. The Ju/Hoansi were not starving. They were not on the edge. They were eating well, and doing it on roughly 4 to 6 hours of effort a day. Not 8. Not 12. 4 to 6. Their staple was the mongongo nut, a hard-shelled nut that grew wild and apparently tasted something like a cashew crossed with a chestnut. But that was just one item. Lee documented over 100 different plant species these people ate on a regular basis. Not occasionally. Regularly. Over 100. You probably eat about 15 species of plant in a normal week. Maybe 20 if you're the kind of person who buys things at the farmer's market and actually uses them. Your ancestors' daily menu looked nothing like that. Mondongo nuts one morning. Wild berries the next. Roasted tubers dug from sandy soil. Leafy greens pulled from riverbanks. Honey, when someone found a hive and was brave enough to raid it. A handful of grubs or beetles for quick protein. And every few days, if a hunt went well, fresh meat shared around a fire. The menu changed with the season, the rain, the movement of animals. It was never the same week twice. Your ancestors would have found your dinner routine unimaginably boring. Around the same time Lee was in the Kalahari, another anthropologist named Marshall Sahlins Shlins took the data and made an argument that shook his entire field. He called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society. Not because they owned things. Because they didn't need to. Their environment gave them enough variety, enough nutrition, enough calories without anyone planting a single seed or fencing a single acre. That phrase still starts arguments in anthropology departments. Fair enough. The specifics get debated. But nobody argues about the direction. Your ancestors had real options. More dietary variety than your grocery store gives you, if you count by species instead of brand names. And here's the part that matters. At some point, humans stopped eating like this. They traded 100 edible species for 3 or 4. And what happened to their bodies after that is the part nobody wants to hear. We'll get there. So, let's take stock of where we are. Your ancestors were squatting in the dirt, cracking nuts, stripping berries off branches, eating insects without a second thought, and sharing whatever meat showed up around a fire at night. Not glamorous. Not the caveman fantasy. Not what the paleo industry wants you to picture. But their teeth were strong. Their bones were dense. Their jaws were wide enough to fit all 32 teeth without crowding, which, if you've ever needed braces, might sting a little. They were getting more nutritional variety from a single morning walk than most people alive today get in a month. Quick thing. If you're into this, hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who actually care about where we came from. That's the whole deal. Now, back to the dirt. If you want to see something close to how your deep ancestors ate, you can still find it today. In northern Tanzania, near Lake Eyasi, a group of people called the Hadzas still live as hunter-gatherers. Not as a tourist performance. Not as a cultural preservation project. This is just how they eat. A typical morning starts with tubers. Women and children head out with digging sticks and pull starchy roots from the ground, the same way humans have done for hundreds of thousands of years. It takes real skill. Knowing which plants to pull, where to dig, how deep to go. This is not random foraging. This is knowledge passed down through more generations than farming has existed. By midday, the menu shifts. Baobab, fruit, cracked open for the powdery, tangy pulp inside. Wild berries. Seeds. And if someone finds a beehive, honey, which the Hadza prize above almost everything else. They will climb a tree 60 feet tall to reach a hive. No rope. No harness. Just bare hands and the understanding that calories like that are worth the risk. Meat comes in bursts. A man might track and kill a small antelope or an impala, and when that happens, the whole camp eats well. But it doesn't happen every day. Some weeks, no hunt succeeds at all. And nobody panics. What fills the gap on meatless days? Insects. Grubs, beetles, termites. The Hadza eat them without hesitation, because insects are packed with protein and fat and they are everywhere. You pick them off a log. You don't chase them. You don't need a weapon. The most reliable food source on the planet, and most modern humans won't touch it. That's the detail that gets lost in the caveman myth. Meat was a bonus. A celebration. Not a baseline. The baseline was plants, every single day, in a variety that would make a modern nutritionist weep. The anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years studying how hunter-gatherer communities share food around the fire at night. What she found was that food was never just fuel. Sharing meat meant alliances. Sharing gathered plants meant trust. The meal was the relationship. Your ancestors did not eat alone. They did not eat fast. They did not eat staring at a screen. They sat around a fire and ate together, slowly, and the food was just the excuse. Roots, tubers, mongongo nuts, baobab, wild figs, honey straight from the hive, beetle larvae pulled from dead wood, caterpillars, termites scooped from mounds, bird eggs taken from nests, tortoises cooked in their own shells, fish pulled from rivers by hand, and on the rare perfect day, antelope or buffalo roasted over open flame until the fat popped. That was a normal month. Now here's where everything shifts. About 10 to 12,000 years ago, humans in several parts of the world, independently, started planting seeds. Wheat in the Fertile Crescent. Rice in what is now China. Corn in Mesoamerica. We call this the agricultural revolution, and your history textbook probably treats it as the greatest leap forward in human civilization. Your skeleton tells a different story. When researchers look at bones from just before and just after the shift to farming, the pattern is brutal. Humans got shorter. Significantly shorter. Tooth decay exploded, because grain-heavy diets feed the bacteria in your mouth. Iron deficiency appeared in populations that had never shown it before. Bone infections increased. Jaws narrowed, which is exactly why your wisdom teeth probably don't fit. The writer and scientist Jared Diamond called agriculture, and he chose these words carefully, the worst mistake in the history of the human race. He wrote that in 1987. It still hits. This was not an upgrade. This was not progress. This was not what moving forward looks like. This was a species trading its health for a harvest that could be stored, taxed, and controlled. More people. But weaker people. More food. But worse food. More stability. But less freedom. Your ancestors went from eating over 100 species to eating 3. Wheat, rice, corn. Those 3 crops still feed the majority of humans alive today. 300,000 years of variety, reduced to 3 plants. Hold that thought. Sit with it. The event your history textbook called the birth of civilization, your bones call it damage. Your teeth call it decay. Your immune system calls it a downgrade. And your body, the one you're sitting in right now, is still carrying the consequences. Still built for a diet that no longer exists. Still expecting variety that never arrives. So what does that actually mean for you? Here's where you are. You live in a world with roughly 50,000 products in the average grocery store. 50,000. That sounds like abundance. It sounds like the most variety any human has ever had access to. Look closer. Read the labels. Most of those 50,000 products are built from the same 4 or 5 ingredients. Corn, wheat, soy, sugar, rice. Rearranged, repackaged, sold back to you in different boxes. Your grocery store is a costume party. 50,000 outfits, all cut from the same 3 fabrics. Your ancestors ate 100 species because the land offered them 100 species. You eat about 15 because the industry offers you 15, dressed up 50,000 ways. That's not variety. That's a magic trick. Every diet trend of the last 30 years has been grasping backward towards something your ancestors never had to think about. Paleo, keto, Whole30, carnivore, plant-based. They're all trying to solve a problem that didn't exist until we created it. Your ancestors didn't need a diet plan. They ate what was there. And what was there was everything. The paleo diet is especially funny, by the way. Not because the instinct is wrong. The instinct is exactly right. But grilled chicken breast and steamed broccoli on a ceramic plate is not what your ancestors were doing. They were eating grubs off a log at dawn and gnawing on a half-raw tuber while walking 12 miles barefoot. Think about what that means for your body. When you eat 100 different species, you accidentally cover almost every micronutrient your cells need. Vitamins, minerals, fiber varieties, trace compounds modern science is still cataloging. No planning required. No supplements. No labels. The variety did the work. We take pills for what they got from the dirt. And here's the thing your body already knows. You crave variety. You get bored eating the same thing 3 days in a row. That is not a flaw in your willpower. That is 300,000 years of evolution nudging you toward a wider menu, because a wider menu meant a healthier body. Your ancestors understood that craving perfectly. They just didn't have a word for it. They followed it. Tomorrow morning, your alarm will go off. You'll walk into the kitchen and eat something made from wheat or corn or sugar or all 3. Maybe out of a box. Maybe wrapped in plastic. That's fine. That's the world now. Nobody is going back to digging tubers at dawn. But somewhere underneath that routine, your body remembers a different kind of morning. No alarm. No package. Just dirt under your fingernails and a twisted root that tasted like nothing from a store. Starchy. Fibrous. Faintly sweet. And enough. If that changed how you see your next meal, drop a like and tell me in the comments, what is the one food you think ancient humans would be most confused by? Protein powder? Gummy vitamins? Gas station sushi? I genuinely want to hear it. Next time, we're looking at how your ancestors actually slept. I'll say this much now, it was nothing like 8 hours in a dark room. Not even close. Until then.